Imagine a night where the ordinary turns into the unthinkable, a night where a plane carrying 239 souls vanishes without a trace, leaving the world grasping at shadows for answers. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 lifted off from Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing, its engines humming through the darkness. For 40 minutes, everything seemed routine. The Boeing 777-200ER soaring above the South China Sea, a beacon of modern aviation. But at 1:19 a.m., as it crossed into Vietnamese airspace near Waypoint Igari, the transponder fell silent. The pilot's final words echoed through the void. "Good night, Malaysian 370. And then, nothing.
We turn to the latest on the search inside the lives of a pilot. Even the words of the co-pilot when he said good night. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas spoke to the experts today.
Control Malaysian 370.
Malaysian 370, Lumpur radar, good morning. Climb flight level 250.
Morning, level 250, Malaysian 370.
Malaysian 370, climb flight level 350.
Climb level 350, Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, maintaining level 350.
Malaysian 370.
Malaysian 370, maintaining level 350.
Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
No distress call, no radar signal, just an empty sky where a plane should have been. What happened to MH370? Was it a human act, a mechanical failure, or something far beyond our comprehension? A wormhole, a UFO encounter, a tear in the fabric of reality? Buckle up. This journey will challenge everything you thought was possible. Let's start with the official story, the one authorities pieced together after years of speculation. According to a 2018 report, the plane made a manual U-turn back toward Malaysia, a maneuver autopilots couldn't replicate, suggesting someone in the cockpit took deliberate control. It flew southwest toward Penang, then northwest over the Andaman Sea, passing Waypoint Meikar. At 3:41 a.m., a satellite data unit came back online, sending hourly pings to a satellite above the Indian Ocean until 8:11 a.m. These pings indicate the plane turned south, heading into the desolate expanse of the southern Indian Ocean, where it supposedly ran out of fuel and crashed, possibly by intent. 3 massive searches scoured 120,000 square kilometers of ocean, burning through $200 million in resources. Yet all they found was a single flaperon, a wing piece that washed ashore on Réunion Island in 2015, far from where the plane should have been. No black boxes, no fuselage, no bodies, just a haunting fragment of what once was. The official narrative points to a tragic end, but is this the whole truth, or a veil hiding something far more extraordinary? The official story feels like a neatly tied bow on a package that's falling apart. In 2014, satellites could track ships, storms, even small boats with pinpoint accuracy. A 200-ton plane crashing into the ocean should have left a sprawling debris field, foam seats, luggage, life vests, floating for weeks, visible from space. Yet for over a year, the ocean remained eerily empty. When fragments finally surfaced in 2015, a flaperon, an engine cowling, a wing piece, they weren't buoyant, defying expectations of what a crash should leave behind. Where was the immediate wreckage we should have seen? The silence grows even more unsettling with the lack of seismic evidence. A 2024 study estimates that a 777 hitting the ocean would generate a force of 2 to 3 on the Richter scale, a tremor that seismometers across the region should have picked up. But the data is flat. No crash, no impact, nothing to suggest a violent end. Some have theorized the plane was ditched intact, sinking perfectly into the depths. But the Indian Ocean's turbulent swells, often exceeding 10 feet, make a controlled landing nearly impossible. A wing catching a wave would spin the plane, as seen in a recent airline incident, and the immense pressure at depth would crack the fuselage open, releasing luggage and flotation devices to the surface. Yet the sea stayed barren, as if something or someone erased every trace. Back in 2014, ideas like black holes were laughed off as absurd, dismissed by experts and media alike. But as the years have passed, those laughs have turned to whispers. What if the truth is stranger than we ever dared to imagine? One of the most widely discussed theories points to the captain, suggesting he deliberately crashed the plane in a tragic act of suicide, taking 238 lives with him. The idea is chilling. He turned off the transponder, diverted the plane from its path, and executed a perfect landing on the ocean surface, choosing a slow death by freezing for himself and everyone on board. But this theory doesn't hold up when you look closer. Psychologically, it's a mismatch. Pilots who take this path typically seek an instant end, a nosedive into a mountain, a sudden plunge into the sea, not a prolonged, agonizing descent where second thoughts could creep in. Logistically, the scenario is even harder to believe. A 777 out of fuel and with failing engines, landing smoothly on an ocean with 10-foot swells? That's a near impossible feat. The waves would catch a wing, spinning the plane out of control, and even if it somehow stayed intact, the crushing pressure of the deep would shatter the hull, sending luggage, life vests, and debris floating to the surface. But nothing surfaced. No seats, no bags, no trace of the 239 souls on board.
Yeah, I really started this investigation looking at the official narrative, which was based indeed on this incredible U-turn at a point called Igari between Malaysia and Vietnam. And the plane we were told that the plane did this incredible U-turn, then flew over Malaysia, then up the Malacca Straits, and eventually went due south and crashed several hours later in the southern Indian Ocean. When I started investigating this, I really looked at every part of this narrative. How do we know that the communication were interrupted, the transponder, for example? How do we really know that the plane flew over Malaysia, etc., etc.? And every step of the way, I basically can't find any tangible evidence. We are told of radar data, but the radar data is inconsistent. We are told of radar images, but no one has seen the radar images. None of the countries in the region have been able, not even the United States, satellite images. Everything is missing.
The captain's motives are equally unconvincing. Stories of marital strife and political extremism circulated, but those close to him described their issues as normal, pointing to the cultural acceptance of polygamy in Malaysia. There's no manifesto, no demands, nothing to suggest he'd harmed 238 innocents. This theory feels too simple, too human, for a disappearance that feels so unearthly. Could there be another explanation, one that stretches beyond the boundaries of our world? The tracking data only deepens the mystery, casting shadows on the official narrative. The transponder went dark at 1:19 a.m., cutting off communication with air traffic control. But then, at 18:25 UTC, pings resumed, as if the system had been reactivated. Why would someone intent on disappearing turn the tracking back on? If the goal was to be found, where's the wreckage? The satellite data, which forms the backbone of the official story, has never been independently verified, leaving a gaping hole in its credibility. Other theories emerge from the darkness, offering more tangible explanations. In 2014, debris resembling a 777 fuselage was spotted in the South China Sea, supported by pilot sightings aides who reported seeing potential wreckage just days after the disappearance. But the search shifted to the Indian Ocean before these leads could be thoroughly investigated, leaving a lingering question of what might have been found. Another hypothesis focuses on the plane's cargo, 2,453 kg of lithium-ion batteries, loaded in Kuala Lumpur without reinspection. These batteries could have sparked a fire, as they've done in past crashes, potentially incapacitating the crew and causing the plane to veer off course. But radar tracked the plane westward, contradicting a South China Sea crash, and the lack of debris still doesn't fit. In 2024, a new theory surfaced, proposing a controlled ditching near Broken Ridge, a 600-meter deep trench in the Indian Ocean. Based on flight simulator data and wing damage, it suggests the plane was deliberately landed in a remote area, possibly to hide it. But again, the absence of debris undermines this idea. Each of these theories offers a piece of the puzzle, but they can't explain the total erasure of evidence. What if the answer lies not on Earth, but in the stars? The most mind-bending theory came to light in 2023 with footage that feels like a glimpse into another dimension. A video captures a 777 strikingly similar to MH370 flying steadily through the night sky. Suddenly, 3 luminous orbs, possibly UFOs, appear out of nowhere, encircling the plane in a mesmerizing, synchronized dance. The aircraft veers sharply to the left, as if desperately trying to escape, but the orbs close in, relentless in their pursuit. Then, in a heartbeat, a strange flash erupts and the plane vanishes, gone, as if it was never there. A second video recorded from a high orbit confirms this surreal event, revealing stereoscopic 3D effects that give depth to the scene, and a hole in the clouds that forms immediately after the flash, hinting at a wormhole, a theoretical tunnel through space-time that could transport an object across vast distances in an instant. A third recording, captured from yet another angle, adds weight to the possibility that this moment was observed by multiple sources, suggesting advanced technology was at play. The drone filming this event has a top speed of just 192 miles per hour, while a 777 cruises at 500 miles per hour. Yet it tracks the action flawlessly, raising questions about how such a feat was possible. The satellite, positioned at 4,401 kilometers altitude, captured this anomaly, implying that something extraordinary was witnessed. Infrared differences, clouds appearing hot in one frame, cold in another, might indicate an unusual energy signature, a ripple of cosmic forces at work. The uploader of these videos disappeared after posting them in 2014, leaving behind whispers of a cover-up. What if this footage is real? What if MH370 didn't crash but was taken, transported through a wormhole by extraterrestrial forces into a realm we can't yet comprehend? After 11 years, MH370 remains a mystery that defies every conventional explanation.
Well, after more than a decade, one of aviation's greatest mysteries could soon be solved, with a new search commencing for MH370 off the coast of WA. Today, correspondent Lara Vella joins us now in the studio. Lara, it's hoped new technology will finally uncover the wreckage.
Jane, Ocean Infinity is the company behind this search, and they have now sent their Armada 7806 vessel around 1,500 kilometres off the coast of Perth in Western Australia to carry out this latest search,
urging us to look beyond the ordinary. The pilot suicide theory feels too small, too earthly, for a disappearance this otherworldly. There's no debris, no seismic trace, and the tracking data weaves a web of contradictions. Other ideas: a lithium fire, a crash in the South China Sea, a ditching near Broken Ridge, offer human explanations, but they crumble under the weight of the missing evidence. A plane vanishing without a trace, leaving no wreckage, no sign of 239 lives. Can that truly be an accident? The UFO and wormhole theory, though fantastic, aligns with the facts in a haunting way. What else could erase a 200-ton aircraft so completely, leaving nothing behind but questions? In 2024, a new approach was proposed to study flaperon drift and ocean currents, aiming to trace the plane's path through the vast ocean, a scientific quest that might finally bring answers. Why was the South China Sea search abandoned so quickly? Why was there no military response to an unresponsive plane flying over populated areas? At BLCK Box, we refuse to stop asking. What do you think happened to MH370? Share your thoughts below. Together, we might uncover a truth that stretches beyond the stars. Thank you for joining us. Stay curious, keep questioning, and always look beyond the visible. The truth is out there, perhaps waiting in the cosmos. Until next time.